Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Danae, and I'm here with a message for you. Happy Saturday. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a wonderful weekend. It is the weekend before Valentine's Day, so maybe some of you are already celebrating, enjoying the love vibes. I hope you are doing so safely in every sense of the word. Because I had a download today in the love department, but I'm going to reserve that because it was through a song and it was kind of taking me through the lyrics of the song, and I really just don't want to go there right now. But I will just say off the top, because perhaps if I wait until, say, Valentine's Day, it could already be too late. But just be mindful of your love investments at this time and be clear to create a fair contract for yourself, if that makes sense. So don't get yourself entangled in any commitment or contract, or even casually or otherwise, that's not altogether fulfilling for you. Because the energy that I was picking up is that there's a good time but not a long time vibe out here for some, not for everybody, but for some. And it may be hard to really tell up front what the true nature of an advancement or an offer might be. And then you might become engaged into it before it's, after it's too late, I should say, end up not being very happy with your end of the deal, say the fine print. And again, that could be intimately and it could be professionally. So, just guard your assets wisely, and just make sure you're getting something great out of the deal too. That it's a deal that you could be happy with one way or another. So I'll leave it there. But I also want to say happy Chinese Lunar New Year. Hey, if you are Asian or Chinese descent, because I know there are a few other cultures outside of strictly Chinese that actually celebrate it, or you're just in for the good time and the festivities of the holiday, happy so to you. And FYI, it is officially the year of the dragon, and this year signifies vigor and vitality. So that's like intense energy and endurance, or the capacity to grow and live. So definitely couldn't agree with that synergy. I don't know what came first, the chicken or the egg, because it seems like we're already in that flow. So hopefully we'll continue to meet, to rise to the occasion of that energetic force. So happy Chinese Lunar New Year to you. I'm excited about it because the year of the dragon we haven't had that since 2012, and we know 2012 was a really powerful year as well. It was the end of days according to the Mayan calendar, right? Or Mayan culture, a prophecy or something like that. And then here we are yet again at another end and beginning. So I'm really curious to see how this all plays out. All right, so let's see what we got today. Oh, no way. If there's anything close, like look at this in the background. If there's any energy close to the dragon, it's definitely the King of Wands. OMG. This is I think it's really a gecko, but this is dragon energy. Even if you look at the that tapestry. I don't know what that is, if that's his actual throne or whatever that is behind him. You can kind of even see they almost look like the Chinese image of the dragon, right? And of course, it's firepower. So we know what that's given for sure. But of course, but also let's not forget this is Leo energy. Um, Highly prevalent here, but it could be any fire sign: Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. About to forget my own damn sign. But yeah, this is so interesting. And what's funny? And I'll say it now because this card came up. When I was contemplating on the Year of the Dragon, what kept coming up in my spirit was The Last Dragon. Don't know why really, but shout out to my college boyfriend who's is the one that actually put me on to the movie The Last Dragon, because before that I had not seen it. So I was a bit of a late bloomer on that, but definitely a classic movie. And it may even have some connection. Bruce Leroy, and he was a warrior of sorts in the kung fu arts, and that movie has a lot of different inflections. It's a cult favorite of sorts, but that's what I kept hearing. So it's funny that it's got to be a connection. I haven't seen that movie in so long that I wouldn't even dare try to pull any references from it that don't come up naturally, but I know that I was hearing the movie for a reason. So I'll look around after the reading and see if anything in particular, any clips in particular inspire me to post. All right. So anyway, all that to say, King of Wands is this is the dragon power right here, the firepower, the embodiment of vigor and vitality, ambition, courage, boldness, drive, passion, what else can we say? Just a high-powered, highly creative as well, masculine energy. Firepower. As I smell something burning, that's crazy. I have the window open because it's a little warm in here today, but I smell something burning. So we got the Two of Wands. Two of Swords. Star card. Interesting. Star card. Let me get one more next to the star. That's way more than what I need, but let's take a look. What's all this restrictive sword energy about? The Eight of Swords, the Justice card, and the Eight of Cups. Somebody's walking away. I see this as injustice, especially when the Eight of Swords is out here. That's somebody being blind and blocked and bound, or that is ignorant to some truth or reality, or there is a projection for this energy to be unaware. When I say ignorant, I mean unaware, literally not have knowledge of something. But with the Eight of Swords, there's a different inflection. There's a more aggressive inflection than just that a lot of times, because it almost has mental imprisonment vibes. And then with the Justice card, hold on here. I'm gonna leave this out on the side. we're gonna do it like that today, because something more is speaking to me with this, because we got the Two of Swords out here, which is about being at a crossroads or being resistant to making a decision, or again feeling in the position of feeling, I often hear indifference with the Two of Swords these days, but it can also be feeling blocked or being blocked or resistant to a particular choice or decision. And now that I laid it down here like this, okay, so this is just a star that is erecting they're maintaining their boundaries against those that may want to come return. Okay. So this was the state of being that was projected. And remember, I said injustice, so it was unjustifiable here, that somebody left somebody for dead, pretty much, or put them in a position. Now you're gonna take my voice? No, you're not. Somebody tried to get somebody oh, and look what's under the deck. I ain't even mean to do that. Okay, so I'm feeling what I'm feeling for a reason. Somebody tried to get somebody caught up in the legal system, in a legal conundrum. Either get somebody out here frame somebody, or to just kind of like implicate somebody into some illegal matters that would land them in jail potentially, because the Eight of Cups is given somebody, it's given that somebody just left somebody. It's like somebody was in jail and the other person just like oh well. Or if they didn't make it, because as I said, this could even be spiritual prison. It could be a matter of somebody, honestly, it could be the matter of somebody physically trying to concoct a story that would lead someone into a legal bind. But it also could be somebody talking about a person in a way, like spreading lies or manipulating energy in some type of way that is unfair, probably because it's not true, but that kind of binds their liberty in some type of way. Because it's like, if you got somebody creating stories against your character, whether you know of it or not, depending on who is the narrator, it could put you in a bind, because it could tarnish your reputation in a way where people just look at you in a funny way. And depending on who you are, that may do more damage than not. It's just dependent on who you are and how much you value other people's opinions, or how much of an impact other people's thoughts or ideas about you can make. If you particularly have a business, or there is a great value that you place on your public persona, then yeah, it could definitely put you in a bind. And this Two of Swords is given, like I said, that somebody is like blocked to the bullshit. Either they're not even affected by this, or they're guarded in such a way, oh, it's like whatever was done here didn't affect someone's natural prosperity. Oil from my hands. It didn't even affect them with the star card. Or they didn't allow it to, either one. You know, it's like somebody still kept focusing on their healing, on their path to destiny, on their own personal self-discovery, and improvement and things of that nature. It's like somebody couldn't even be bothered, even whether they knew or not. They didn't allow it to affect their wellness. That's what it is. And that in itself was the point of protection and the boundary, because what may have been intended to cause harm, whether it was, now I'm hearing consciously or subconsciously, but I really mean more aggressively or passively aggressive, however you say that, meaning it was behind someone's back and it wasn't really like at their face, like you're this and you're that, and you know, somebody trying to forwardly tear someone down. Yeah, and I got this twinge in my throat. This was somebody that was doing it behind the scenes. Yeah. And like I said, with this Justice card, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, my throat is like scratching to survive right now. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody really tried to bring the hammer down or put somebody in a really bad spot. Whatever they did, though, they couldn't sustain it. Maybe for a while they did, because the Eight of Cups is definitely a long-term investment of energy, but they couldn't sustain it to the point of the desired ideal of outcome, which would have been to actually annihilate this character. And there was some layer of protection that was unaccounted for. Probably that this effect would have any impact, because like I said, if you're not open to the bullshit, even if you know about people talking shit about you or creating stories, or the word I couldn't think of a couple videos ago was smear campaign. Someone that went on a smear campaign to just desecrate your character in one way, shape, or form. You could know exactly what that is, meaning you heard it through the grapevine yourself, or you could just know intuitively that there was something unjustified going on, unfair happening against you. Sometimes the intuitive nudge without the physical receipts, the material evidence, can be more maddening than actually knowing exactly what was said, because at least you have the opportunity to confirm or deny it, right? So I feel like that was the intention, to create like this gaslighting effect, this madness behind the scenes, where someone would pretty much be content throwing rocks and hiding their hands, but projecting the energy in such a way, like I said, leaving someone in mental unrest or instability, or binded, or and blind, because you don't know where it's coming from or what exactly is being said. And that was supposed to be the bait to put someone in a stagnant position, to be even untrustworthy of themselves, because it's like, what, you feeling on guard and defensive, but you don't even really know who the enemy is, where it's coming from, and when it's going to strike. And it's like somebody was not on that at all. It's like this was the response. I'm just going to heal, mind my business, drink my water, focus on my own self-improvement, focus on the things that make me happy, that advance my purpose in life, that are enlightening and advancing for my energetic force. And anything else, nothing else, as a matter of fact, matters. That's a samurai warrior for you. Sometimes I see the Two of Swords. Speaking of which, sometimes I see the Two of Swords as like a samurai. I don't know why I always say samurai warrior. That's just what flows off the tongue. But that's what I see sometimes with, and actually I don't know if that's Chinese warrior or Japanese, but I feel like it's Chinese. I see someone like that's like an advanced martial artist, or a warrior of some sort, where it looks like she's, how it is in movies sometimes, where they'll blindfold themselves, or even in more modern depiction, where in John Wick, the Asian assassin was blind. He had gone blind. I think something happened to him. I don't think he was always blind throughout all four movies, but the one that sticks out to me is when he was blind and he was kicking ass. Like, he had all types of things set up to ultimately, defend himself from opposition or from the enemy, and offend the enemy in a very powerful way. King of Wands vibes, okay? So I don't even know how the King of Wands plays into this, because with the energy that I feel off of the King of Wands, it's not giving this. This is not the King of Wands over here leaving people for dead. Not one in the upright anyway. That would be a lustful king in the inverse. In the reverse, like, the nemesis. Interesting. Which we all know, in any good kung fu movie, there is the star, the hero, or whatever you want to call it, and then there's always the nemesis. As I said, who throws rocks and hides their hands. So maybe they haven't revealed themselves just yet, or they are yet to be revealed. But in any regard, the king, and a lot of times, like in movies like that, the nemesis has a great deal in common with, it's like the shadow side of whoever the hero is, the antagonist of the hero. There's usually a bit of an overlap or overlay in their characters. Usually what? On account that the nemesis either wants something that the hero has, or wants to eliminate the hero so that they can get on with their dirty deeds. And who's the hero lording over but this star card? The King of Wands is on post, like protecting and serving some interest of celestial order here. The innocent, or the pure in spirit, is what I hear. And that's what the vigor and the vitality is reserved for, the pure in spirit. And that is a threat to those that either do not possess or have access to that that energy field, or that just have something against it. Yeah, so this is somebody up. So this is somebody that's tried to lead to put okay. Yeah, so this is somebody that somebody or someone's, okay, some people that tried to use material matters of manipulation to capture celestial souls. So it was happening on multiple fronts, like it was literally happening in this material form, as I spoke of already, like smearing, gossiping, framing, collusion, all those types of things. And it was also happening in the spiritual sense with the Six of Cups energy giving me, you know, trying to entrap people into these really expired commitments. That's interesting from what I was saying in the beginning, right? About being mindful of who you're engaging, and that the contract, the commitment, whatever the exchange may be, actually works in your favor. The Six of Cups speaks about the regeneration of a connection. In this regard, it's somebody that was trying to recreate or regenerate a codependent dynamic, whether they insert themselves into that dynamic or whether they project the frequency for those that are actually walking in a certain vibration of self-healing and awareness, to want to have them to go back into this codependent energy where, you know, we know where that leads. Is exactly on account of what I was, you know, given a word of wisdom for in the very beginning, that you end up with the short end of the stick. As you see, this feminine is shorter than the masculine. And so now I am going to say a little bit of what the channel music was. I may not get into all the details of, I don't know, for some reason I'm feeling like it should come up, because this is like a familiar relationship or exchange that it's reoccurring. It's either something familiar that you experienced before that's showing up again, or it's a cycle that persists all the time, because usually on account of someone not being in submission to their healing, or in submission to their supreme self, as to why we keep attracting situations that are not for our highest good. That's the invested interest here, that what they can't destroy, whoever they is, and by practical means, that they would be able to do it spiritually, so by keeping you stuck in frequencies that they know will ultimately cause you to self-destruct. So for instance, the song that I was hearing earlier today was, and you may not even know this song because it's kind of like, it's from the neo soul, the height of the neo soul era, when, you know, it was definitely mainstream and commercialized at that point, but there were certain artists and certain songs that you just kind of had to be a fan to really connect with. And one of those artists is Bilal. I'm sure you may have heard of him if you're familiar with that genre of music, but you may not know his song Love Poems. It was a fan favorite of mine and my friend group, who we were all neo soul fanatics in our college years, because that's when it was really at its height. when I was in college, and I went to college in Philly, so it was really at home there with like music and Jill Scott and all those energies or whatever. But Bilal has this song called Love Poems, and that's what kind of like inspired my message earlier, because I love that song. But when I listened to it today, I heard it in a different way than what I heard it when I was younger. Not that I haven't listened to it since then, but I heard it with a different ear today. And still a great song, still love it. I'm not even going to sing it, but I'll tell you like the premise of the song, and I'll post it as well. But the premise of the song is, at first he's expressing like an admiration for this connection that seems to be kind of a budding connection between a man and a woman. Ideally, it could be between whomever, and I think Bilal, I don't know, so I'll stay off of that. But anyway, I'll say man and a woman because later in the song you hear the feminine perspective in the form of poetry, right? Respectively so for the song, but he's pretty much singing like, about let's not rush. First he's asking like, what's this thing do you feel something when I kiss you? And it's just like, okay, well maybe we on to something here. That's the vibes of the first verse. But then you get to the second verse after the hook, which ultimately he goes into saying like, let's not label this, let's not rush it. I want the lover and keep the friend. I want to be near you and not pretend. Like basically him saying that he wants a homie lover friend situation, or a friends with benefits situation, where either they were friends and it was growing into a more intimate exchange, or the intimate exchange was growing beyond his willingness to expand into it in a committed sense. He was kind of like pumping the brakes, like, this is great, I'm loving it, I'm feeling you, I'm enjoying what we're doing here, but I don't think we should label it. I think we should just have fun and see where it goes. And then by the end of it all, it's like, I'm too young to settle down, and I gotta do me. It's like, hold on, where we get on? Like we started off sweet, then you were a little bit uncertain, then by the end it's like, you damn near about to ghost me. In between that, you hear again the feminine perspective of the and the poetry, who's basically like spoken word, talking about how she's lonely in this connection. Like it's like trying to figure out like, am I just kind of in this love exchange on my own? She's talking about how she's been searching for love poems, and I interpret it as like trying to find the romanticism, trying to like hold on to the romanticism in this exchange, even though her spirit is telling her that she's not being fulfilled in this exchange. It's like she, to one extent, probably more physically speaking, she's being engaged, but the whole of her soul is not being nurtured because the whole of her soul is not being loved. It's like with restriction and with conditions. So I'm gonna post it because it's interesting or whatever, but you feel, I felt today the like the imbalance in the feminine energy more than I ever did in any other time I ever listened to it. Like I appreciated the poem break or whatever, but I never really felt the energy of that feminine the way that I did today. Like he over here pretty much having his cake and eating it too, where meanwhile she's lost with every encounter. Like, well, are we doing this or not? Are we together or not? Like, is this what you want, or is it not? And still being left ultimately, like I said, with the short end of the stick. So that's what this energy is giving me. Like somebody would want, particularly the feminine energy, to be in this unhealed space of, a cycle of sorts, where they're willing to give more than there's an expectation to receive, or that they're so jaded by the past experiences of being hurt and mismanaged energetically, that they would be guarded to any possibility of something fresh and new that is truly healed, like at the higher frequency of the Six of Cups, where it is a beautiful exchange, a balanced exchange of love, one that feels familiar, perhaps because it has even a celestial essence or past life regeneration of sorts, but now coming back in a better form. You may be guarded to that experience on account of what you have already encountered, and maybe not feeling like you can trust yourself or anyone else. Now, the synergy is the Star card, who would be, again, almost immune to the bullshit on any account, that will be able to be objective about the experience that's happening in real time, as I said in the beginning of the video, to really be able to discern, like, am I okay with this being a good time, not a long time situation? Does that hold not to say you can't be, do your thing, does it hold value to me to just have a good time for Valentine's Day and let that, you know what I mean, and not really worry about what happens on the 15th or beyond, or not worry about where a particular casual engagement may be going. Is that okay for you? If it is, then you hold the control and the keys for that advancement. But a lot of times, especially as far as the feminine aspect is concerned, we kind of fool ourselves or allow ourselves to be finessed, into the feeling of love for love's sake. I should say the idea of love for the feeling's sake, even if it's momentarily. And even in the way of that song, where he's clearly outlining his perspective and his position of emotional unavailability holistically. It's like, regardless of how he's sugarcoating it, at the end of the day, he is not emotionally available for what it is that feminine is looking for or believes that she deserves to have, or even just wants to have. So, it's a matter of being mindful of what contracts that you are entangling yourself in before you sign your name on that dotted line, or you sign your energetic signature to the exchange, So there's that. So I guess it was meant for me to say it anyway. So there, I said it. But I will post that song in the comments, and I'll post it on the community tab. Yeah, because see, look, exactly like this is what I'm saying. See, I be feeling what I be feeling. Let me get two more with that. Just about, somebody don't mean no good. They're holding on to some, what is given is some, they're wanting to hold on to some control of ooh, wow. Look at this, y'all. Yeah. My leg is hurting. My leg is hurting right now. Hold on, let me fix these cards, because we're gonna do at least one more row before I get up out of here. So leg, you're gonna have to cut me some slack here. So we got the Seven of Swords, we got the Four of Wands. So this is like somebody holding on to this, this is wild. Holding on to this obsession of control, where, like, almost a toxic, not only are they holding on to this toxic idea of really to lust and whatever satisfies their primal nature, they're trying to hold someone else in that as well, or trying to keep someone else bound and entangled to some diabolical cord here, with the premise of love, with the I mean, if this isn't love bombing, love, all the aspects of like somebody's hovering, somebody is smearing, it's like all the narcissistic vibes are on this table. Gaslighting. And it's because they're bound to this contract, this lower vibrational contract, only simply because they are committed to it, and what, refusing their healing with the star card. Somebody doesn't want to take that journey, so it's like misery loves company. If they don't have someone to engage in this connection with, it's no fun. And that's in the practical sense, but this might actually be someone being in debt to a dark contract. As considering all that I said, like this energetic interference of the feminine energy trying to keep her on this cycle to be able to siphon that vitality from her being, from her spirit. There's no better way to do that than if she's blocked and bound and in her lowest point. Operating in her lower frequency too, in some way, shape, or form. Either by, like I said, the one tactic was by smearing, creating all these storylines about the person, hoping that it might even get back to them and cause a disruption there. But when that didn't work, then it's on to the next. Like, now I'm gonna actually try to entrap you into some type of relationship or energetic exchange, and then ghost you or deplete your energy, or make you feel unworthy or rejected in some way, shape, or form. Or actually bring something diabolical into the connection. With the Seven of Swords, who even knows what that energy is? It could be a disease. So now we going there, because that's what I'm getting with this Four of Pentacles. It's not the Five, which definitely denotes disease, or it could. But hell, it's even less than that, so it could be even worse. To take you off the market, or to where they couldn't tarnish you energetically, or spiritually, or it could even be financially, or just depreciating your value. That's what it is. Like, to depreciate your natural value or your physical value with the Four of Pentacles, to almost make you feel like damaged goods, if not to just, to ultimately inflict that upon you, to be actually damaged goods by way of some transmission of disease. Not to, no shade to anybody, that anyone that has a disease is damaged goods, but this is the mentality and the motivation of this energy. Oh my goodness. This ain't the King of Wands, not the true King of Wands. Definitely Nemesis vibes, or the reverse, the inverted King of Wands, who's just lustful, has no self-control, that's egotistical, prideful, very little boundaries, impulsive, compulsive even. I'll say no boundaries. Yeah, here's the Strength card, but this is the response of the feminine energy, is strength. That Star card is like holding it down in the middle here. That's like the core of it all, like the core of even the character of whomever the intended target may have been or is or was. It's like the strength. And that was almost the I knew it. I felt this energy. I almost said somebody has a bit of a God complex. But I was like, well, it's not the Emperor. But I swear when I was talking about the King of Wands, I felt it. And that's even more of a strain, because the King of Wands having a God complex of the Emperor is definitely a delusion and an inflated ego. Because you're not even the Emperor, you're the King of Wands, and not even the true pure King of Wands. It's like somebody that wants to be the last dragon, but they not even a damn gecko or a lizard, or they not even the kimono. What's those things called? The kimono dragon, like the big ass lizards, which those things are pretty scary, don't mind you. And I think that might be what that is actually. In the picture, I called it a gecko, but I think it's supposed to be I feel like it might be that, even though it's really small. But those things, ooh, the big ones, those are scary. But that's what somebody is. Like they want to be a dragon so bad, but their passion isn't pure enough. It's like their ambition is fiery, ballsy, as a matter of fact, but it's not pure. The dragon, spiritually speaking, you don't get to harness a dragon without having healed your energetic force, to have found balance between your dark and your light, not to be like with not inner conflict, being consumed by your primal nature. The dragon is spirit. It is vitality. It is force. It is strength and power. You don't get to ride that energy or even allow that energy to become one with you in a lower frequency. You're just the devil at that point. You're just fire and brimstone, and ultimately of which will be self-consuming. You see, that's what I was talking about that hero nemesis energy. Is like somebody wants to be the last dragon or the dragon, and that's the thing. That's why the last dragon is coming up, because they may have been a dragon or had access to their own energetic dragon, but it wasn't enough to have that in their own right. It's like they saw what someone else had and they want that. Or they see that someone else is thriving in the way that they ride their dragon, and it incites a jealousy and an envy. With the Seven of Swords here, they want to steal it, they want to take it away or dismantle it so that their dragon can appear to be more powerful. Emperor card here. And it's like, not only are you not going to, you're not going to overpower the true dragon. You're not going to subdue it, to hijack it and ride it for yourself, because the energetic signature that it is connected to is distinct. You're not going to be able to just hop on and ride off into the sunset any more than it has a desire to infuse with you. You know, this is the convergence of spirit and flesh here, but there has to be a synergy between the two. And the dragon in the pure sense is not looking, it's like the difference between like Game of Thrones, where the one dragon what was the dragon? I forget. Well, she had three, but in the end, it was down to two, and it was the fire and the ice. Right, hers was still fire. The other one was ice. But the ice dragon was corrupted. That wasn't its purest form, so it wasn't even operating in the function of like that mystical magic that it was created in, that it was divine, the divinity of its true organism. It was being controlled by what? The Night King. So this is somebody that's under demonic influence, maybe even possession, that feels they have some entitlement to this high frequency of fire power, which is just like unlimited creativity. You know, we can liken it to that, to be like a master manifester, an ascended master of manifestation to some degree, where you could just snap and make something happen. Just look at it and it changed form. Just, you know, have a passion toward it and it would be transcended into some other being or organism. And that's people, places, and things. Like that's what fire does. It transforms whatever it connects to. This is somebody that really sacrificed their power or either sacrificed it to a lower nature or a darker force, or allowed themselves, that's what the Four of Pentacles is. They allowed themselves to be occupied and possessed for the exchange of it, because that's what the darker nature does. It tells you that it has something to give you that it doesn't even have rights to. And it'll be the illusion of it. You know, it'll kind of look like the thing, as I said, between the two polarities. It'll look like the thing, it'll look like the power, but it'll always pale in the presence of the natural power, which then incites that energy to want to kill that natural power altogether, because they can never, the ego won't allow there to be a competition or a comparison even. Yeah, I'm talking right. With this Sun card here, and it's about to be exposed, this Emperor energy, for exactly what has been going on here behind the scenes, beyond the veil, under the surface, in the dark. Everything's being brought to light. And this could be like intimately within, your own intimate life of masculine energies that have ultimately been on a rampage to destroy the feminine energy. And hell, let's just keep it a buck. Some masculine energies too. Like it works both ways. Anything that poses itself to be a threat or competition. So if it's a healed feminine that can't be controlled, they're going to find a way to manipulate that energy to bring her under submission. If it's a masculine energy that is standing firm in his confidence and creativity and is not susceptible to succumbing to their darkest nature, not to say you can't be an acceptance of both, but these are energies that want people to be on the dark side so that they can again have control over that organism. So if you're not willing to submit to the powers that be dark, then we got to eliminate you. It's an all-out attack, all-out war, because the intention is to keep people on this cycle of toxicity and codependency. Whereas if you got a masculine who's operating in their lower nature, and a feminine who's doing the same in whatever regard, whether it's out of fear, defensiveness, offensiveness, narcissist, whatever the energy is, guilt, shame, all of that. If you can keep people on that low vibration, they'll continue to attract from that frequency, and there'll never be a hope for any ascendance of these unions and partnerships to be healed in totality, collectively or individually, to rise to this occasion of pure light which would be the ultimate threat to society as, you know, a herd of sheep. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know you know what I'm saying, but it's like, really? Are we really? Exactly. Like, to be able to dictate who gets what, when, why, how, to look like it's all diplomatic and fair, but this is like the bootleg justice, where somebody that has ultimately elected himself some official or diplomat of sorts, or playing the part or the role of it, but really is looking to take, or at least to control and dictate more than they are willing to share and create balance and harmony in this regard. And that's being exposed too. So the people that are in these high power positions that are abusing their authority, the people that are fraudulently in positions that they have no right to be in, the people that think they in power positions that are really actually possessed, you know, the activity that's been going on to inflict hurt, harm, and distress onto pure spiritual beings, that innocent beings that didn't deserve it, ultimately, that's being exposed. And the true power and strength of the masculine and feminine forces that are healed, that have committed to, you know, that are devoted to their divinity and have made a commitment to their supreme selves, they're being revealed, you know, so it's all coming out in the wash. Yep. Here's the overindulgence parading itself as wish fulfillment. This is what people have been doing, like just collecting souls, as many as they could. It's been much harder to come by recently, you know, to really sacrifice people for their own satisfaction as it has been in the past, you know, because most people weren't even willing to entertain the possibility of these activities being a reality. Like, what? People gang stalking you, people smearing your name. Like, why would they say that? Why would they do that? What value would they have in it? Not to mention the things that actually did yield a monetary value for the activity. That's what's being held on to here, like the things that were acquired on account of these dark contracts to keep people bound in these cycles. Like, this was a mission that people were being highly compensated for in one way, shape, or form, whether it was money, access, power, clout, recognition, whatever. There was an exchange here. I'm just gonna get a couple more on the bottom, because we ain't ending on no wish fulfillment, because that ain't what it is, and that ain't what it's going to be. They're going to get back everything that they expelled, for sure, but it ain't going to be a dream come true. At least not at first. Oh, shit. All right, let's see here. Messed up my table. They mad. And like, this is the relentlessness. Yeah, still, exactly, still working. Still putting in that work. No matter how much harder they're making it on themselves, there's still this insistence to keep at it. That was almost the 9 of Wands, but it was a lot of cards. I just want one more. Yeah, look at that. To no avail, really. Because now the 2 of Swords is very certain about their objectivity. In the Queen of Swords, armed and dangerous. Exactly. And here is that energy here exposed. this coven or collaboration, these organizations of energy that have just been working overtime to maintain this operation at all costs. That's them. And not only are they going to be exposed for who they are by name, but also exactly what role was played in the operation. So it's not going to be like Jeffrey Epstein's list where you don't know who is really on it. Really, it's like talk about it, but you don't know exactly everybody everybody, all names will be read and exposed accordingly. Everybody's involvement and position in it will be exposed clearly with receipts. The sentencing or the not only what they inflicted upon others, but it'll also be clear as to how justice is prevailing by way of the judgment that's been called. So it'll be known how people are ultimately being judged for their actions. Whether, again, this could be in a spiritual sense, or it could be in a natural order. It could be both. But it will be visible as to how people are actually now reckoning with their own actions and ambitions. Whether it's a judgment in a court case, or you just see people looking bad, or you see that luck is not what it used to be, or you can feel the energy. People don't talk like they used to. They don't sound like, they're not doing as well as they used to be when they were operating in another function. Yeah, all will be exposed. And the sentencing, if for those that even survive the worst of it all, whatever that it gets to be for whomever, is that now you're still going to be sentenced to do the work on yourself that you were supposed to do in the first place. All here in alignment with this healing. But now, of course, it's going to be much more of a struggle with the 10 of Wands, because the stakes are higher now, based on how people have ultimately created their own life experience. And that could be for the next 10 years. It could be for the next 8. Hell, it could be for the next 20. With, what's the name? What is that? Pluto in Aquarius. So, good luck with that. Meanwhile, back on the ranch, those that have been focused on healing now are going to see the benefits of their discipline through rewards, recognition, support, advancement, moving on into things that are passion-driven, purposeful, being recognized for their, look at this, moving on into what? Wheel of Fortune, their own divine fortune, whatever that gets to be, and a lifestyle of luck is what I'm hearing. Of course, it's not that primitive, but that's what the Wheel of Fortune can represent, like good luck, good fortune, just moving into your destined identity, the lifestyle that ultimately was divined for you to inhabit, occupy, express. People have been held back from that. Then this is just natural order, the natural evolution of creation. But these diabolical forces, as the nemesis that they are, have been holding people back from just doing what's been natural to their life, what's been destined for their path. That's unfair. That's totally unfair. And the universe won't stand for it anymore. So this is the wheel turning in the favor of those that have just been, like I said, minding their business, drinking their water, regardless of what adversity has arisen, regardless of, the oppositional forces that have held them back. You ain't complaining too much, or you didn't complain too much. You didn't retaliate. You didn't become hardened and evil and resort to your lower nature as you were trying to be incited to do, provoked to do, or to cower into fear and insecurity as you were also being projected to do. Like, no, none of that. You just focused on what was in front of you, what you could do about your present situation, and how you could just continue to make yourself better, no matter what the odds, no matter what the stakes, no matter what the circumstances. And sometimes none of that was very favorable, unfortunately. But fortunately, it all worked in the matter of building strength, as that strength card peeked its head out earlier, of building muscle for manifestation, knowing how to take whatever is at hand and making something productive of it. Now it's coming to the point where you're going to have everything on hand, everything that you could possibly wish to have at this point that makes, sense with your supreme self. Maybe and then some, who knows, which is also the challenge, because now with the world at your fingertips, you have to continue to maintain that state of spiritual sensibility, and being sound with the power that you will. That's the back end of being released in your sovereignty, of course. But those that have been focusing on a certain higher frequency are already equipped to navigate that transition. Unlike those who had a great deal of power and access and impact and completely jumped off the deep end with it. So that wheel is turning in a different favor for those. And if there is still hope or grace, it'll be for the purposes of just gaining that training to find your way back in the upright position. Figuring out where you may have misstepped or missed the message of what it truly means to be powerful, and readjusting, your programming through that process of healing. That's like best case scenario, and that ain't too bad. It's worse than being completely eliminated from a second chance, or another chance, I should say, because some people had many, many chances, but from regeneration of self in this lifetime or anything beyond, because that's what the worst case scenario is, to have to pretty much die with your choices, in the reckoning of your choices, and to curse your lineage to pick up the slack where you left off, if you even have a lineage left to be cursed. So it still matters, like, what you do with the breath you have in your body. Everybody. Nobody's 100% in the clear, because people that are now gaining the access and the full capacity of their natural strength, like I said, you still have the responsibility to wield it wisely. And those that are feeling stripped still have the responsibility or the accountability to find their way back to wholeness. It don't matter that the devil is on your ass. That's between you and that entity. And whether or not you surrender to it or you run back to the energy that can save you. And I don't mean the star in the regards of any external person, place, or thing. I mean running into your eternal self to find that supreme expression that would reconnect you back with the divine and your divine nature. That's the only direction worth running into. And eventually, with the Seven of Swords, they run into that reality one way or another, either the demise of from the things that they have done and expelled, or to actually face their own healing. And for some in the Seven of Swords, it's like the lesser of two evils before there is a surrender, let alone a repentance. So good luck with that. All right, anyway, I'm done with this here. Thank you for listening. I think it's going to be a little long because my incense has been burned out. So if you're still rocking with me, I do appreciate you. Again, enjoy the rest of your weekend. The love vibes are definitely strong out here. I definitely can attest to it. Just be careful, be mindful, and, keep your standards high. Believe that you are worth everything that you desire to have, everything that you're willing to give, you're worthy enough to receive and return. So if people are not at least matching that expectation, then sorry, not sorry, they don't deserve the grace of your presence, period. So there's that. I said it. All right. So again, happy Chinese Lunar New Year. And also get into that energy as well, be the dragon that you were born to be, and allow that energy to, that transformative energy to converge with who you are in the most creative way. You deserve it. It's your birthright. No matter what your heritage or your culture, there's a dragon in every culture, and in every form. It looks different and we talk about it differently, but hell, the Holy Spirit is a dragon if you really get into it. So in every aspect of spirituality or spiritual expression, there is the invitation to converge with the most powerful expression of your energetic force. And for most of you that I'm sure are listening, you're a frequency match for it. So be open to how it wants to co-create with you. All right. And yeah, enjoy yourself above all. All right. This is the season of love. So definitely be loving on you through all these changes and transformations gracefully, and giving others the space to have their own experience. All right. So thank you again for listening and watching. Until next time, as always, I leave you with peace.